Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So, again, as always, I hope you had a wonderful week. And here I am at home, and, you know, getting like the beginnings of a cold, getting the beginnings of that little tickle when you think it's like, you know what, I've got a shot at beating this, and I'm going to try to take it. I'm going to do my best. So, but today I was able to just kind of take a day and rest and relax a little bit. So, being December, there's something that I always experience that I think probably a lot of people do, is that, that feeling from like when we were kids. And December was for dreaming. And it was about, mostly it was dreaming about what you might get for Christmas, depending on, how you celebrate and whatever you celebrated or if you celebrated. Usually this was a time of year that was very much about, gee, what could I get? Maybe I'll get that pony this year. Or whatever it is that you were looking forward to. And also, with the end of the year and the beginning of a new year, there's that idea of, wow, what could the next year bring? Maybe the perfect job, maybe the perfect mate, maybe the perfect place to live, maybe that big lottery win. Then you can get that pony. But it's sort of a time when, we think about possibilities. And whether those possibilities are realistic or not, that's what we dream. And as a species, we have the amazing ability to take an imaginary situation and have it feel so real that it helps us deal with a reality that we're experiencing that maybe is not so nice and is not so pleasant, and that we can actually find comfort in that. So I thought that today we would kind of explore different types of dreaming and how each one is important, but each one sort of carries kind of a different energy to it, a different process to it. Now, one form of dreaming is the stuff that's pure fantasy. I mean, maybe imagining you're a mermaid underneath the sea, or a merman underneath the sea, or that, you're interacting with alien species, or that, you're a Jedi, or that you're, the whole Harry Potter thing. And there are people who do, millions of people who do, around the world who do cosplay and, go to conventions and you dress up as these characters. And for that amount of time, you can actually be that. You can embody that. You hang out with other people who are supporting that you are that. So that's a wonderful type of dreaming. And it is something that you can imagine as big as you want. You can dream as big as you want. And it takes absolutely no energy. It takes no effort. You don't have to do anything. You just dream it. And there it is. And you are it. And that is the situation. And, we would call it daydreaming, or in some cases people can do lucid dreaming, where actually while they're asleep they can alter their dreams to where it's everything that they want, and they can create anything they want just because they want it. And it is necessary, and it's amazing when, and it's like, it's something that really needs to be encouraged in children, because of the fact that it's these children who are able to imagine something that doesn't exist, that maybe according to the current technology can't exist, but it becomes a reality for them. And just had to, something beep. So the idea that we can envision something that is completely out of the realm of the current reality. I mean, back in the days, and, for those like, me and many others who are, on the far side of 50, we remember when the TV show Star Trek first came out, and then they had like the little flip communicators, And the idea of actually talking to somebody over this little thing that you could hold in your hand, because we grew up where, the phone was hooked to the wall and that was it. And, or, like a walkie-talkie type of thing. And then they came out with those big brick phones that they were car phones because you had to have it installed in your car. And that was like, oh wow, that's amazing. You could be in your car and you could make a phone call. And I mean, it was like this big and, huge. But it was technology that no one else had, that hadn't existed before. And then, as time went by, and it's amazing how fast, like, this new technology comes out, and it's like, oh my God, it's amazing, it's innovative. And it's like in a matter of months, it is just, wow, gee, nobody uses that anymore, nobody does that anymore, or that's outdated. I mean, and speaking as somebody who probably still has an open MySpace account, it goes into that place of, but it was so exciting and it was new, and that was a month ago, and now there's other things. Because, when that dream starts and when it becomes a reality, suddenly everybody else starts getting ideas of how to improve it. So, now, not only, we went to, from the big brick to, kind of little flip phones to smaller and smaller and smaller, computers used to fill up a wall in a building and, had little punch cards that you had to, put stuff in. But it ended up being a situation where, now it's like, most cell phones have more technology. I mean, just something this big has more technology in it than, the old computers, maybe even the ones that, sent the things into space. And now we have, it's just kind of taken for granted that we have access to the collective knowledge of the planet at our fingertips. And that was somebody's dream, that we would be able to have all this. And it didn't exist. And because they decided, no, this is something that's going to become real, that's where it came in. That's where it went to a whole new place. And so, just trying to, here we go. Trying to control two pieces of technology at the same time. I mean, even this, the idea that it is available to us to be able to create an image in our home, and with a computer, a laptop computer, that nowadays it's like, yeah, laptops are, they're okay, they're not like huge or anything. Not anymore. Now it's like, oh wow, yeah, I got my laptop, pull it out, and nobody's like, oh my God, you've got a laptop. Yeah, whatever. And then it goes down to tablets and all of that. But all of those things, all the technology was dreamed up by somebody. And it started on a dream that ended up being built on, not just by that person, but by other people as well. So consider that ability to dream something into reality. Now, that's where the division happens. Because if we have something that we dream that is just going to be a dream, it's never going to be more than just, wow, wouldn't that be cool to, breathe water and get to, fly around the oceans or whatever. And where we, say, or maybe, to fly, it's like, I don't know anybody who didn't at some point dream of being able to fly. But, all of those things that we just, it's like, yeah, it'd be cool, but, it is outside of the realm, maybe even of physics itself. It's outside the realm of whatever it is that we want, that we are capable of doing. So, dream that as big as you want. Enjoy it. Now, if it's a dream that you want to manifest into reality, if it becomes something that we want to make into our world, like technology, like, well, whatever, then it's going to take work, and a lot of work, and commitment. because those types of dreams, it's being able to dream big is excellent. But remember, if you dream big, that's how much work it's going to take. That's how much commitment. That's how much time it's going to take. So when you consider those dreams that you want to make into a reality, whether it's something for you personally or something for the world, you're going to need to be able to take a look at it outside of, well, it's like, well, I'm just going to dream it and it's going to come into reality. And granted, if you do have that ability, awesome, great, call me. If you don't, then, and we're not just talking about manifestation or whatever, because if you are manifesting, if you are going into that place of, all right, I want to run a marathon, then okay, what are the resources you're going to need? What is the training you're going to need? What is the help you're going to need? How much time is it going to take? Because, like I said, the bigger the dream, the more the commitment, the more time you're willing to invest. So that means that for those types of dreams, you have to have that really, in your heart commitment. Because, maybe your dream is to be a doctor. Well, then it's going to require education. It's going to require training. It's going to require money. And what is it? What are your resources? What are you starting off with that will help you to attain this? So take a look at that when you think about the things you're dreaming of. If you're dreaming of the perfect mate, if you're dreaming of the perfect person to, just kind of come into your life and fairy tale endings, okay, that is a wonderful, let's pretend dream. That's a wonderful thing you can fantasize about, you can daydream about. When you start talking about the reality of finding that perfect person that you are going to, spend maybe the rest of your life with, okay, that's going to, first you got to find them. Second, you have to learn about each other. It's not that that person is going to come in and, yes, everything's perfect. You're dealing with somebody who has their light, their shadow, their issues, their history. And it's about learning to merge that. It's not about finding someone who is perfect. It's about finding someone and creating that match that even though it's not perfect, you would still choose it. So it's very much, when we talk about dreams, and you want a dream that you can turn into a reality, let's say it's your dream to learn to play the tuba, which, yeah, tuba can be an amazing, wonderful part of an orchestra, but the first time someone picks it up, not the most pleasant thing. That has kind of a harsh learning curve. But let's say you're committed to learning to play the tuba. So you decide, all right, I'm going to play the tuba, and the first thing probably is that letting your neighbors know, do I have a place to play my tuba? Do I have a tuba? Where can I get a tuba? Who can teach me to do this? Because the idea of, well, I'm just going to go get something and muck around with it until I figure out how to become good at it, you can. There are people who do. And it makes the process a lot better if you find somebody who's good at it already and find out what they know. Have them teach you what it is that you need to know in order to be able to do this. So that aspect can be very important. And, maybe it's like, okay, if I'm going to do the tuba, I got to go out to an open field and learn how to play the tuba, or find somebody who says, okay, you can play your tuba in my place. But either way, it's about the time that you need in order to become proficient. And for any great dream, and I would hazard to say every great dream was trial and error. Every great dream that has been achieved had a whole string of things that went wrong. Of, wow, that didn't work, let's try something else. So don't think that any dream, just because it doesn't happen the first time you try it, just because it doesn't work out the first time you try it, that's just the beginning. That's where the dream starts. And the question becomes, are you going to be as committed to that dream a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, depending on, if it's a really big dream, maybe 10 years from now? Can you be as committed to that dream in a year as you are right now? Is this something that you are so passionate about that you are willing to do whatever it takes, including taking the time to be able to build that dream and to learn about that dream and to grow into that dream and maybe even alter that dream? If it's like, wow, you know what, I was dreamed about doing this, but while I was learning to do this, I learned about that, and I want to incorporate that into it. So, whether it's a musical instrument, whether it's learning to run a marathon, whether it's learning to speak a language, if you have like a goal to run the Boston Marathon, I mean, good for you, and I wish you luck, because, I mean, that's certainly not one of my dreams, but, for a lot of people it is. That means that you have to be that committed. Now, if you're already running like marathons or mini marathons, that is a different process than if, the most you've done is watched a marathon on television. That means that you're going to spend years, emphasize years, going from zero to, running a marathon, and it's going to take commitment. It means, oh wow, it's cold and wet outside. Well, guess what? You're going to go out and run anyway. And it is that commitment that feeds into the dream, that makes the dream happen. And one of my favorite quotes that I've used before, and it is like one of my go-tos, is that the only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. In order to make that dream happen, it means a commitment. It means that you're going to be working, hard. You're going to have to commit yourself and your heart and your mind to it. If you're not willing to do that, that's okay. Then just leave the dream as a daydream. Leave it as a let's pretend. But if you want to bring it into reality, into this reality, then that means that it's going to be work. It means that it's going to be effort, and when you're that passionate about something, when something just, the idea of doing it just makes you feel better, makes you smile all on your own, just the thought of it makes you smile, then it's not work. Then it's not what you have to do, it's what you get to do. And when you can be in that space of, wow, I get to get up early in the morning and go and, and run for, for a mile or 5 miles or 10 miles, and one day I am going to run that Boston Marathon. That frame of mind is the frame of mind that makes dreams come true. That's where the good stuff comes in. And when you're facing criticism, when you're having people tell you, no, you can't do this, you run a marathon, please. Because there's also that part of, anybody who has ever had a dream that they've fought for has had people tell them to give up. And it may be that, that person cares about you and they feel that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. They don't want you to be disappointed. Or it could be someone who didn't make their dream, so they kind of like throwing a monkey wrench into other people's dreams so they don't feel quite so bad about themselves. Whatever their story, that's their story. So the question is, in the face of opposition, in the face of time, in the face of disappointment, and in challenges, can you still hold on to that dream and say, no, this dream is still going to be a reality? If you can do that, then you can make your dreams come true. I mean, as long as you're not trying to defy physics or anything. But if there is something you really, really want to do, and you are willing to commit the time, the effort, the resources, the patience, and the tenacity to it, then you can do it. And people have done things that anybody would have said, you cannot do this. There's no way that this can be done. And they did it anyway. And then once they did it, it was, I remember back when I was younger, the idea of somebody, breaking the 4-minute mile. And now it's like you've got people doing it, and and they're, that line is being, shortened, shorter and shorter. But at some point, everybody, almost anything worthwhile, somebody said, you can't do this. So being able to move past that, being able to say, no, this isn't just going to stay a daydream. This is going to become a reality. And that's up to you. That's that passion inside of you. And it doesn't matter. If it turns out that you give it your all and it's something you can't do, well, you got close. And maybe there's something close that you can be able to do with it. But give your dreams a chance. Don't automatically shift them to daydreams just because someone else told you you need to, or just because you checked and it's like, wow, this is going to be really hard. Some of the most worthwhile things that we've ever had in our lives were really hard. And when you make something really hard that you had to really work for, when you achieve that, that's just amazing. But it's tenacity. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, keep trying, keep getting better. And just see where it takes you. But the thing is, you'll always wonder in the back of your mind, wow, could I have done that? Because you don't want to give up too soon. And the worst you can do is not hit the mark fully. But you'll get close. You may get close enough to be able to figure out something else. But don't give up on your dreams. Don't just automatically put something in a daydream when it is possible. Difficult? Yes. Challenging? Yes. Life-changing? Yes. Transformative? Yes. Empowering? Yes. Try. I know the whole thing, Yoda, oh, there is no try, there is only do. Forget that, there is try. And try again. And be tenacious. Because you are smart enough. You have the ability to, if you have the ability to dream it, you have the ability to become it and to manifest it. It just means that you're going to have to figure out how. And that's a whole work in itself. So enjoy it. Enjoy the journey, because that's what it is. It's the journey. And yes, achieving the final goal is wonderful and amazing, but when you look back, the biggest gift was the journey that got you to the dream. So, dream big. Work hard. Don't give up. And enjoy the road. Enjoy the journey. So, thank you for joining me on this journey. This is doing the whole YouTube thing. That's part of my dream. And they may not be perfect, and some of the early ones may have been like, oh my God, embarrassing or whatever. But each time I feel like I'm getting better and better. And that's the whole point. I'm not going to give up. Because, one, it's kind of fun. And two, it may lead me to a dream that maybe I'm not even totally clear on myself. But it could lead to something amazing. And that's the other thing. One dream could lead to a bigger one that you don't even know to dream yet. So embrace it. And if people tell you that it's not great, or if people tell you that it's impossible, well, maybe it wouldn't be great for them, and maybe it's impossible for them, but that doesn't mean it's impossible for you. Every great person got told that what they wanted to do was impossible, but they did it anyway, and so can you. So, thank you for joining me, and if you would like to support the channel, you can subscribe right there. And you can look at other videos, and you can hit that like button, and you can also, and if you subscribe, click the little bell, and that will notify you when anything new comes up. You can share this video and comment, because I do read the comments, and I do appreciate them. So if you want to support on a bigger level, you can go to my Patreon account, which is in the description, and you can support as a sponsor. So, have a wonderful week. And as always, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings to yours. Love you. Bye.